What's up, Green? You can't hear me.
Hi, Flanagan.
Hey there, girl. How are you?
Well, I've been looking forward to this.
Well, I don't know if you're gonna love it or leave it. What
I'll
is
let
it?
you know. It's a Flanagan class. I'm going to love it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let me turn Stuart Varney off. Hi, Jay.
Hey there.
Hey there, hi there, ho there. We're as happy as can be. Shut up, B.
Oh, you know what?
You're a nut?
There it is. Can you all see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Good. As long as it's just you two, I'm going to click through. Great. Okay. Good deal. How do I get back to my last one? Dang, Jay. Okay. How's it going? Everybody all right?
I feel like I ran out of juice today.
That's all right. It's Friday. You're allowed to.
I'm usually going 100 miles an hour. My choo-choo just ain't chugging.
You know, I think one of the most important things you have to do is remember it's just a job. You're just going to work and you need the time off. You know, if you're doing everything right throughout the week, there comes a time where you just got to say, it's time to take a day. Now make sure you schedule it on your calendar. I used to feel guilty. Not anymore. Not anymore.
How are you doing, Flanagan?
Um,
Your choo-choo chugging?
My choo-choo's chugging. Got a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and they're all good things. Thankfully, they're all good things. So I'm happy about that. You know, if I focused on the bad crap, I would never get out of my own way. So, but you know what? You're old enough, and Jay, it's just the three of us, right?
Yeah.
I said to the wife last night she was flipping channels, and it was like 6 o'clock news, and of course the first thing started out was, and X amount of people died today, and I'm going, and it hit me just like that of flashbacks. It was like turning on the evening news during the Vietnam War for body counts. Every morning started the same way. This was the body count yesterday in Vietnam, and just, yeah, I was just like crazy. Anyway.
Hello, Michael Prince. Welcome.
Hey there, I'm going into a Zoom training right now. What do you got? Hey there. Hey there. Sorry about that, folks. People trying to get hold of me. And all right, let's give it one more minute and we're good to go. It's back where it belongs. What's up, Bobby?
Hello.
Stop clicking on my screen. Clay, Anna, good morning. Michael, good morning. All right,
Morning.
11 o'clock.
Good morning.
Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to mute everybody down. We'll go from there. If you got questions, just pop in. If you know me, my name is Greg Flanagan. If you don't, my name is still Greg Flanagan. I've been in real estate for about 15 years, retired New York State Department of Corrections. What do I have in my background? Mayor of a small New York State upstate village. Retired as lieutenant from the correction department. Presently sitting on the ALC here, Agent Leadership Council, and passed over in Mount Pleasant. I'm also on the regional council for the all of KW. I do the Carolina region, myself and Joseph. All around nice guy, good guy, always want to help people. What fills my bucket on a regular basis is sharing information that I've learned over the years. I've been very fortunate to have some great leadership. I've been very fortunate to have some great mentors and trainers. And my path right now is selling real estate. I belong to Found Properties Group as one of their senior agents. And that's what I do. I sell real estate. I focus mainly on listings, and that's what I'm going to share today. How do we lead generate in a tough market and look for listings? Okay. Alternative sources of lead generation. First thing we have to look at is, who do I want to be during the COVID-19 pandemic? Who do I want to be? Do I want to be that person in the fear zone? And fear is all about, you're panicking. You're grabbing the food, the toilet paper, medications. You're spreading false rumors. Anything you hear is got, something's happening. And thankfully, after a month, I think most of those people have calmed down, but they're still complaining frequently. They still forward all the nonsense messages about this and that, and they're right on the edge of their seat. They get mad very easily. You can get into the learning zone, and I hope that's where everybody is right now, or at least coming out of that, going into the next zone. The learning zone is where, you start to give up. Your mindset changes a little bit. And if you know me, it's all about mindset. It's all about somebody getting your mind right. I'm a big fan of Cool Hand Luke, and you got to get your mind right first. Put your mind right, and you've got to get control of your emotions. So in the learning zone, this blue zone right in here, I stop compulsively consuming what hurts me. I identify my emotions. I deal with my emotions. I become aware of the situation, learn how to act. I evaluate information before spreading something false. And I recognize that we're all trying to do our best. Okay. Your best and my best probably look quite different. Okay. They look quite different especially if you're brand new and you don't understand what's happening in the system. So the zone that I like to stay in is that growth zone. Okay. Think of the others first, see how you can help them. Make your talents available to those who need them. Live in the present and focus on the future. Don't live in the past. Empathetic with myself and others. It's going to happen. It's happening. I understand what's happening. It's not so much sympathy, and the difference between sympathy and empathy is, oh, I'm real sorry, and you're feeding into a sorry, sympathetic type of person, whereas empathy is, I understand what you're going through. Let's try to get through this together. Okay, I understand what they're going through. I understand there's a lot of people out there right now that can't afford this month and a half off. It's definitely definitely weighing on them financially, emotionally, possibly physically, getting sick over this. So be empathetic where other people are, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about that. I thank and appreciate others. Come from gratitude, okay? I appreciate every one of you for actually coming on this webinar and listening to me talk, because to be honest with you folks, I don't think I'm that great, all right? I just know a little bit more than you do, and that's what I want to share. I am totally appreciative and grateful that you're here. I keep a happy emotional state and I spread hope. If you've ever seen my goofy butt on this video stuff, there's no reason to be sorry. There's no reason to be down. Keep your head up and the opportunity comes to you. It will flow in to what you're putting out. I look for a way to adapt to new changes. I'm going to give you a quick anecdote. March 10th, I realized somebody shut down a school, and I don't remember where it was, somewhere in the state, maybe Raleigh, North Carolina. And I called Vince and I said, Vince, we got ourselves a problem. Let's start working. And I adapt very quickly. And when you can adapt and not hold on to past things, you are going to be in that growth zone. You're going to say, okay, that was then, this is now. Let's go forward and move forward. I practice quietude, patience, relationships, and creativity. 4 great things. Quietude, what is that? Anybody do savers in the morning? Miracle Morning people? Great book, write it down. Miracle Morning for real estate agents. Write it down. 6 things you do in the morning. And one of them is quietude. Whether you meditate, I meditate, have patience with everybody. All right? Patience. Just relax. Agree with them. There's no sense in disagreeing with people. Just have patience, whether it's your children, your husband, your spouse, your client. I have been in a couple between, I get a lot of telephone calls from agents that I've known over the years. And the last week or two, the emotions have been running so high between clients. And the most important thing that we need to do is to be the one that is unemotional in that situation. We have to keep our emotions. That's what a leader does. And that's what we're doing here. We're leading people to the closing table. Keep your emotion very, very tight and, work it out between the clients. And we'll go over that down the road. And creativity. Always be creative. Any way you can be creative to make a deal work, any way you can be creative to touch people. And that's what we're doing here today. We're being creative to what's going to happen next. If you haven't, any questions on that? Okay, fear, learning, and growth. And here's how this is going to work, folks. I'm going to speed through this presentation because if you're like me, you get bored real quick and you don't want to hear my voice. I want to hear what's going on in your mind, and we're going to sit here and try to problem solve some stuff and give you some information, give you some ways to go. The 3 L's of real estate. This is the basic tenet of real estate. On the bottom is you get leads. We're going to talk about leads today. And where am I? There I am. We're going to talk about leads today and how to acquire them, where to get them from. And that's the most important thing at the bottom of this triangle. Once you get the leads, then you go for the listings. Why are we focusing on listings? We're going to talk about that today. Listings are the lifeblood of real estate. If you own the listings, you own the market. Leverage. What is leverage? How do you leverage your time to handle more deals? That's an important thing too, okay? Anybody seen this triangle before? Raise your hand, please. Okay, this is an important triangle. It's in MREA. Just follow it, write it down, put it there. List to last. This is a concept that is not new. It's been around for years and years and years. Again, if you own all the listings, buyers and buyers agents have to come to you. Now, I normally equate this to a quarterback. If I have the ball, I'm going to either hand it off to somebody or throw it to somebody, and they're going to go for the touchdown. Same thing with a listing. I have the listing. Hey, real estate agents, this is what I have. My job is to market this listing. My job is to send it out there. My job is to give it to people to see, hey, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell real estate? Here's the buy part. Get me a buyer for this house. And so you own the listing. People have to come to you. How many people have spent more than 50 hours with a buyer? If you've ever had a buyer before. Normal buyer is about 50 hours. And I'm talking about every minute that you think about them, talk about them, walk them through buildings, do CMAs, it's 50 hours. A listing, maybe 10. So you're going to get 3% for a buyer or 3% for a listing. What's your dollar per hour? Heck of a lot bigger on listings, correct? With me on that? You're going to get paid more money in your pocket for less time working. Listings are where you want to be. You have less time servicing the client. Your biggest service to the client is going to come prior to and once a week. 3-minute conversation. Buyers versus sellers, time and money conversation. This is buyers versus sellers. 50 hours for a buyer, maybe an hour or two for a seller if you're doing it right. Listing agents are good at multiplying their time and making deals happen. They're problem solvers. You've got a problem. The person has to move, wants to move, changing situations. The listing agent is the one that can make all this happen and do it in a very small amount of time. And you do it to 5 or 6 people at a time, 15 if you're really good. Listings are the greatest time multiplier in real estate for the same reason, and focus on helping property owners solve the problem. Especially in this market, what are some of the problems that property owners have? And feel free to tell me, because I need a drink. Anybody?
I think one of the things a lot of people are asking about right now is days on market. What does that look like now versus what it looked like 3 months ago?
Okay. So on the days on market, that's a problem they're having. Is that an objection, or is it just something they're worried about?
It's just a concern.
Okay. All right. How do we handle that? By data, right? Show them the data. It's not that bad. When you go to show somebody a DOM, days on market data, do it yourself. Go into CTAR, go into MLS, and get it down into their neighborhood within 3 blocks of them. Okay, you're going to see a distinct change normally in what the days on market is. Case in point, I just finished one up last week. Everything around it, the days on market was in 60. And the reason the day on the market was at 60 was because everybody was overpriced. They're all sitting there overpriced. You look at just the neighborhood and who priced out. This is using APC, by the way. If you don't know what APC is, we call it Anton's power curve, but it's a pricing tool that we have, the Market Center supplies. So look at a very tight area when you're doing that, Jay. Days on market, very tight area. And if there's homes on the market that are still active after 60 days, they're just too overpriced. They're overpriced right now at 30 days, believe it or not. Most places have a pent-up buyers market, pent-up buyers waiting for a house to come on the market. They've seen all the crap that's on there already, and they've wasted their time viewing it, determining that it's overpriced, and they're looking for the value when it comes on the market.
Greg?
Yeah, Bob.
I mean, it's also,
Yeah.
like you told me the other day, is absorption rate. If how that affects days on market.
Well, that is days, right, correct.
I mean,
If you have, and what Sarah's talking about is absorption rate. And absorption rate is if you have 12 homes sitting on the market, one sells this month, that's a 12-month market. If you don't put another house on there and you just sell what's left on the market, you got 12 months to sell the rest of them, 11 actually. That's not a good market. You got to pay attention to that when you're pricing a house. Anybody else? Okay, we're all about how are we going to do this? In a regular market, these pillars of lead generation, this is something you won't see in most places. I can share with you that these are what the top teams and the top agents look at. They take the top 4 things that they're going to lead generate into. And this is pre-COVID-19. Database, your nurtures, your follow-ups, your events, and your scripts. Every day you do your database. You segment it, you do the D2D2. What is it, D2T2? Okay, any idea? Ignite?
I think it's DTD2.
DTD2, okay? That's what they're calling Ignite or the Bold database now. I call it a database. Mine is segmented from years and years and years of having clients, met people, nurtures, other agents outside the market. It's all segmented already, thank the Lord, and you work this. I was explaining to somebody yesterday that I did 33 deals last year, did about $9 million, just actually $9,952,000 because I was upset with myself because I couldn't find $48,000 more. Anyway, 20 of those deals came out of my database, 13 I had to prospect for. So even at this stage of my game, 13 I had to prospect for. Remember that. You're going to have to prospect. It's part of the deal. So database was those. Online leads, PPC is pay-per-click. That's the pay-per-click, whether it's Google ads, whether it's Bing ads. Look at Bing too. If you're doing pay-per-click, I tell you what, I get a lot from Bing, B-I-N-G. Bing is the Microsoft web browser. Farm can be an expensive hobby right now because you can't knock on doors and most of the telephone numbers aren't available. So what you'll be doing is spending money on mailers. And then FSBOs and expires, these are low-hanging fruit. These are people that are already on the market, probably having some problems touching people, getting people, client traffic through to them. So those are the 4 pillars of lead generation. I would say everybody on the call, if you're going to be a listing agent, go and fill these 4 buckets up. Okay, fill them up. What does it look like afterwards? That one didn't make it. There it is. Okay, it jumped. Afterwards, the database stays the same. Okay, I would say go into your database a little bit more often. Make sure that everybody's in your database that has been called. And those calls are going to be care calls, what I call care calls. You're going to call them up, hey, how you doing? And you're going to have the conversation from there. Do not call them up and say, hey, are you looking to sell your house? It's not going to work. Okay, they will hang up on your, Vince said it this morning and we've said it for years. People don't care what you know until they know you care. And get into that caring, compassionate, empathetic telephone call. Your emails should be empathetic. We're all going through this together. Use the we. Don't say I should or you should, or use the we. Online ads, PPC. I've added social media to this. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Now, there's a couple of schools of thought on this, and if we got any marketers in here, I know you're going to argue with it. Maybe. I've had marketers say, pick a platform and stay with the platform. Put everything you have into that platform and work that platform. And other marketers say you have to be on every platform there is, which drives a lot of people crazy, but Hootsuite loves it because you're paying them ungodly amount of money per year to do it. So pick a platform, do it. Your Facebook platform, I think it's coming down to, I've had this conversation with some other agents. The Facebook platforms are coming down to, hey, here's my business. Look what I do. Look what I've done for my community. Look what I'm doing for this buyer, this seller. And your Instagram is now your personal conversation with the people you know. Anybody hear that true? Does that ring true to anybody? Okay. So that's what I'm being told. I think it works pretty well. I've gone that route in the last few. Both parties know you. It's just the Instagram takes a break and says, okay, I can follow him on Instagram and he's not going to beat me up about buying or selling a house. So you change your pillars to social media, the farm, mailers, knock, call. And I haven't asked Michael's permission yet on this. Michael, you there?
Yeah.
Would you share with us, if nobody else, I don't know how many people have heard this story already. Tell us what happened over there when you went knocking on doors.
Oh, and Oyster Point. We went and we hit 15 doors, exactly 15 doors. We knew they were all 4 bedrooms. Out of the doors that we hit, we ended up with 4 immediate, very solid leads and roughly 3 to 4 nurtures.
What was your
And
conversation?
currently, say that again.
What was your conversation?
It was just literally, hey, we've got people interested in only 4 bedrooms. You're one of the 4 bedrooms. They like this style. Can you please give us a call if you ever think of selling? And then typically, actually, they ended up, without even asking, they ended up giving us their email address as well.
Okay, great. Thank you, Michael. So what that's doing is he's actually going out there. He identified a buyer who had a need and he knocked on your door. It's a different strategy than the last farm where all you're doing is knocking on the door saying, hey, I'm your realtor. Do you want to list with me? He had a purpose of going up there and a purpose of talking to these people. They also did, him and Cameron knocked on doors around the grandmother's house, Michael's grandmother's house, because a lot of older folks there. And they went in with a care and concern. Is there anything we can do for you? And they started doing grocery pickups. All right.
I have
And the old lady was, go ahead, Mike.
I have a question, Flanagan.
Yeah, Rick.
Michael, and people actually opened their doors and stood there and talked to you? What kind of social distancing did you do? Did they talk about social distancing before they opened their door? Can you be a little more specific?
As soon as I rang the doorbell and knocked, I stepped back, quite a good ways away from the door, so that they could open it, step out, and still have space. And basically, everyone just we kind of no handshakes, and just sat there and talked. No one really brought up the social distancing. And at that time, this was 2 weeks into the COVID, almost 3 weeks into the COVID, whatever you want to call it that we're in right now. So people were concerned about it, but most of them, they just don't touch me and we're good.
So this was before the governor shut down?
Right
before.
So what he's seeing there is that I think the mindset here is it can still happen. It can still happen. This is about mindset. It's about going forward. It's about different ways of doing things. The farm is still there, but come from the care visits. Come from the care visits. Don't come from, hey, do you want to sell your house? They had a purpose. The second one, they actually had a purpose about helping older people get their groceries. The FSBOs, same thing. Go back into the care. They're a hard bunch right there, and they're going to be that way forever. Okay, so your 2 takeaways there: social media, care visits, come from caring and concern, empathy. All right, alternative methods. What can we do to prospect business during these times? Identify the ways to help others, whether it's knocking on their door and asking them for if you can run groceries, cut their grass. We're getting into the spring. Take out their trash. Be creative. Go back into the wheel and be creative about this. Figure out where it is. Be available to those who need my talents. What talents do you have? Are you a school teacher? Are you an accountant? School teachers. If we have any school teachers, how can you help that? Can you jump online, do a 1 hour Zoom, do a tutor class, take a little bit of burden off these people that unfortunately, if somebody told me to teach my kids geometry, I'm done. Stick a fork in me, man. I'm done. Right? So if you have those talents, reach out there and do it. Put yourself in front of people in different ways than what we're normally doing. That's where that goes. Live in the present and focus on the future. That's where, again, if somebody starts with the negative talk, not the negative talk, but the backwards talk, turn the conversation. Turn the conversation. Well, what's happening now? What are those questions, right? Turn the conversation to the future. What does your future look like? What are you looking for in 1, 3, or 5 years from now? Let's talk about the future after this is all passed, because we know it's all going to pass. Okay, these are conversations that you can have with your husband, wife, kids, the next door neighbors, the people you see in the grocery store, anybody that doesn't have a smile on their face. Let me ask you, what does it look like after you're done? And if they say, I don't know, go, what if you did know? Tell me about that. Okay, use those words. What if you did know? How many people say, I don't know? And if you respond to them, you stop, let the silence do a little bit of work, and go, well, what if you did know? What would it look like? And let them think. Let them think about what they want in the future, because that changes people's focus. Be empathetic with yourself and others. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Just understand where they're coming from. Understand where you're coming from. For years, I've had to, don't sell from your pocketbook. Just because you might be going through hard times doesn't mean the guy next door is going through hard times. If you're going out there down and desperate and gotta get, you're not going to get. You're not going to get. So be empathetic with yourself. Yes, you're in this position. I had a coach one time years ago, and he said something. I think I lost a $15,000 commission over some BS. And he looked at me, and I was pretty much in it's 15 grand. Man, that's a lot of money. And he says, well, that's how that felt. Let's move on. That's how that felt with the words. And it's true. That's how that felt. So be empathetic with yourself and others. Be grateful. Thank others. And, if I don't know if this is starting to sound like a cliche in America, everything you read, being grateful, coming from gratitude. If you're one of those people that wake up in the morning and, first thing in your thoughts before you get out of bed is, first thing in my thoughts, I'm an old guy, right? Thank God I'm on this side of the dirt. I'm grateful. Thank you. Okay. Start your day off with gratitude, and it makes for a better day. And as you go through the day, whether it's the guy who pumped your gas, got your hamburger, make sure you come from gratitude. And that includes the people are going to remember you, right? And it starts a conversation. Stay happy and bring hope. Again, it goes back to a conversation. We're having conversations. Stay happy and bring that hope. Well, this sucks, that sucks, and this sucks. Yeah, but you know what? Tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow will be better. We can change things. It'll change. This too shall pass. Every generation comes through and has this problem. We're just seeing it in a different way. Be adaptive in all things. Embrace change. We've gotten that, figure out a new way to do things. Practice quietude, relationships, patience, and creativity. I think out of all these, quietude, patience, and creativity are probably the three big ones. Creativity, man, you got to think outside the box right now. And I think I've got a good crew of people on here that I'm looking to see who's here, and it's not everybody's got a good attitude, so I'm not going to beat on anybody right now. Name 10 lead generation tactics you can use. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes, maybe 4. Just go down through and list as many as you can get. I want to come back and type these out for you. I'd play some soft music, but I'd probably cut the entire thing off. So I'm just going to keep quiet. Think creatively.
There's a little springtime jazz for everybody to listen to.
Thanks, Betsy. I knew you were my music director.
Oh, no, that's Carol.
Oh, that's Carol. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Two minutes. One minute. All right. I'm going to bust this screen down. Pull up my other screen. So, what do we got? Anybody want to share?
You know, one of the things I've been doing is I'm actually talking to everybody I see while I'm out walking that will respond, that I'm talking to, you know, that I see out walking the dogs at the grocery store. People are really craving conversation. So I'm still talking to people. I'm just standing 6 feet away.
100%. 100%. Good one, Carol. Thank you. Anybody else? What are you going to do? Out of the box kind of stuff.
I'm not going out. I'm an old babe. I have no immune system, and I take care of hubby. So
Good.
I think I've been out twice since we have hunkered down, and both of those times I've gone to the office. Don't know why, don't ask. So, but I'm old school. I am picking up the phone and calling people.
Sure.
You know, everybody's in the world of text and email, and that's great. And you're right, Carol, people want to chit chat. So I'm calling people. Some people I'm calling, I don't even know who they are anymore. And it's been real interesting. In addition, I'm doing snail mail, as long as the post office is open. I can't tell you how many little handwritten notes I've written to people. Just, hey, thinking of you. Just wanted you to know you're on my mind. Have a nice day. No business card, no nothing, just a little, you know, something. I like you, Carol. I'm all about the music. I've been emailing people songs. When I think, oh, I think of this person with this song, I'm emailing it to them. And I'm doing group Zooms because I have a lot of groups in my life, my dance community, my tap community, my shag community. So I'm doing a lot of group Zooms. I'm just trying to stay in front of people.
I like the idea of group Zooms. Group Zooms are good, whether it's a dance party Zoom or a happy hour Zoom. If you do it on a regular basis, it's a great thing to do. And I think the whole thing there is regular basis. You agree?
Absolutely.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, it's something that I thought was really fun. Couple things, like in our neighborhood. So one of my talents, I do training, and so for fitness, and so just kind of holding some open space yoga just in my neighborhood. And then the other thing that was really fun was hosting just a drop-off session, a drop-off space at my home for CSA. Like we had, I coordinated with a whole mess of friends and neighbors, drop off of eggs. And I think there was somebody inspired me from KW, and I can't think of her name. It wasn't Stella. Oh, no, it was Stella. It was Stella. Yes, Stella. It was Stella. So she inspired that. So I hosted it at my house, and that was really nice. Just a nice thing to kind of, and we stayed far enough from each other from, everybody did the social distancing. Everybody just crossed out their names, but it was nice to just kind of connect with neighbors as well as friends with that, and just kind of just stay, another way to connect.
Cool. So CSA is community. What's
the community, all the farms, so
Okay.
they'll drop off the vegetables. Cool. And so some of them now are doing it to your house, but before, for big orders, you can just do a drop-off site. And so
Right.
as a volunteer, I would, you just kind of host it as your drop-off site and just kind of get a group together in on it.
Cool. All right, anybody else?
Another thing that Stella did yesterday, actually, she's not on here, so I'll share. She invited a food truck to her house and invited the entire neighborhood.
How'd that go?
From my understanding, she had about 30 or 40 families come over and grab some food.
I like that idea.
From the
I love that idea. Good job.
And when I was talking to her yesterday, she actually has like 5 more lined up. So she's going to do it once a week for at least the next 5 weeks.
And that's great. And what I like, the biggest thing I like about that is the consistency of doing it. It's everything we do as a real estate agent. If you're going to send out a monthly email or a monthly flyer newsletter, you got to do it every month. People look for it. I get more conversations back to me about, thanks for the email, thanks for the newsletter, thanks for this. Consistency. If you're going to do it, Anna, if you're doing, was it Anna, you were doing the yoga?
Yes.
Okay, same thing, consistent. If you're going to do it every Monday, do it every Monday, do it every day, whatever it is. That's what's going to build you the following. Because who you're talking to today is who you're going to sell tomorrow after this is all over. Those people are going to know you and know that you care, and they're going to buy and sell from you. So fantastic, great thing, especially when you're doing it in your neighborhood. Nothing better than to walk across the street and write a listing agreement and walk back home. It is just the best thing in the world. Fabulous. All right, let's move on a little bit quicker. We were 11:38. Focus on your goal. I know when you're having conversations, it's great to have a conversation, but this is what separates the real estate agent and a producing agent is they focus on why they're talking to people. All right. Everything else is great. We're helping people. We're doing everything else. But the bottom line is your job is to make your family money. If it's not your family, it's yourself, whatever your why is. Right. And to have that happen, you've got to focus on what you're doing. What is the goal when I'm here? So it doesn't have to be a sure killer close. It's just information gathering with soft trial closes. Get an appointment. Your goal, everything is about getting an appointment to see their home, whether it is now or in big letters after. okay, after they reopen the world. Okay, what you want to know, get a nurture, someone who has expressed an interest in moving, figure it out. Everybody know what LP Mama is? Here it is right here. Location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, and appointment. Everybody you're talking to, these are the focuses that you want to focus on, with the most important being the appointment. All right, I lost that one. Most important being the appointment. So let's go through a quick conversation. Jay, help me out with this, if you would. All right. Hey, Jay, Greg Flanagan, how you been, man?
Good, Greg. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Hey, I'm just checking up, seeing if everything's all right. You know, anything I can do for you?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there, just getting used to the new normal.
That's cool, man. How the kids making out?
Oh, they're great.
Yeah,
Driving me nuts.
how you making out with the kids being home all day?
One of us is going to die before this is over.
Is the house big enough or what?
I don't know that the biggest house in Charleston would be big enough.
Is that right? If you had to do it all over again, what'd you do? What would you do?
I would absolutely make sure there was a lot more yard space.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, maybe we'll look at that later on after this is all over, you know? Because you never know, it might come back, right?
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then you continue your conversation. What would make you move? How would it look like if you did have a bigger house in this last month? Those kind of questions. Practice them. Have the conversations with other agents and practice those questions. We're going to go forward a little bit. How to stay focused while conversing. Use a visual reminder. As you know, I've put up, and some of the agents that have worked with me in the past, right above their computer, you know, in like 120 type, you got a sign that says appointment. Appointment. That way, when you're chatting, you turn around and you go, oh yeah, appointment. You get at it, especially you high eyes. Everybody know what a high eye is? Chatty Cathy's? Yep. Chatty Cathy, you got it. Carol, you are. High eyes, just go off on this deep end. You've got to keep the conversation focused. Focused. Yes, you want to hear it. You want to do all that stuff, but focus. How to stay focused while conversing. Visual reminder. The second one is engage more people. And I've said this for years. The more people you talk to, the better you're going to get, because you're going to see how you fail on people, and you're going to go back and relearn it. Exposure leads to composure. What do I mean by that? Just what it says. The more you expose yourself to those conversations and the quality of those conversations, the content of those conversations, the context of those conversations, the better you're going to get at having those conversations, and the more easily they're going to flow out of your mouth. All right? The more comfortable you're going to get, and the easier they're going to flow out of your mouth, so you can find out what the motivation of this person is. And that's where this comes in. Get better at your conversations. You know, I think one of the things that scares people, and if you've been listening to any kind of training online from some of the big coaches and all that crap, double down, double down, double down, double down. Well, you know what? You weren't singling down before this thing. Okay? You were half-assing it before this thing. So now you got to like double half-ass it just to get to the first one. Double down to me, yes, you have to spend more time prospecting. We know that. We know that you have to take more listings. I focus on listings. Buyers, they're there, but you know, there's 7,000 agents and everybody's got a buyer that needs a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right? Well, I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. The last 3 homes I've sold, every one of them's been a multi-offer situation, and they're sold within 2 days of being on the market. So the buyers are already there. Get the listing. Get the listing. So to double down to me, spend more time on prospecting. Have a plan and work the plan. This is basic stuff, right? Have a plan, work the plan, put the plan in front of you. Every morning I get up and I do of course it's not sitting right in front of me, but I have a sheet. No, it's under my dashboard. Here it is. Every Zoom call, every number with the Zoom call, where I'm going to prospect, it's just on a sheet. I don't need it on anything else, right? I've got my journal out. There it is. That's where I keep track of all the nonsense. So have a plan, follow your plan, and make sure you're talking to people. That's all we want you to do. If you're talking to people, if you're not comfortable on the phone, do what Carol does, go out and meet everybody. All right, stay safe distances away. Go find your niche. Yoga, teaching, somewhere out there, do something for your neighbor. Go find it and work it. Ask better questions. This comes under the sales category. And if you've been in sales and had any training in sales, and I have for years, you know, there was a lot of why questions. And somebody finally made me aware that why is more of a accusatory statement. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? What makes you, you know, why are you asking me that question? So I've thrown why out of my conversations. My conversations center more around what makes you want to move? What makes you want to buy a new house? What makes you, how will that affect your family in the future? How will that affect your job? You know, where would you like to ask those questions? Who, what, where, when questions. Don't ask why questions. And I've actually done this across my life. I no longer ask my wife why we're having that for dinner. You know, it's more like, so what makes you want to have that for dinner tonight? You know, it comes a little bit different. I don't know if it does for you or not, but it's definitely less accusatory. And you'll get better answers from people.
And what kind of answer do you get when you ask that, Flanagan? Is it something like, well, why don't you pick the menu tomorrow night?
Oh, no, it's always something like, I'm doing it for your health, honey. Yeah, okay. Anyway.
Do you eat it?
How will that affect you? What makes you want to? You know, where would you like to? When would you like to? When that happens, what does it look like? Right? If that doesn't happen, what would that look like? Guy wants to take his house off the market. What makes you want to take your house off the market? Well, it's not going to sell for 6 months anyway. Well, how will it affect your plans to move to Florida? Well, I guess we're going to have to put them off. Well, what if I could sell your home in 30 days for the highest amount of money for the least amount of time? And, you know, just they're different questions. I think they come across differently. And if you don't agree, please, I'd love to have a conversation on it.
I have a question, Flanagan.
Of course you do.
What? I take that with all the love it meant. What if,
It is with love.
what if I can sell your house for the most amount of money in 30 days? Okay. What happens if it doesn't sell in 30 days? How do you handle that?
Man, it will sell in 30 days because I'm an experienced real estate agent and I understand pricing in this market, and I will price it right as long as you agree to price it right. Will you agree to price it right?
Oh, yes, whatever you say.
Okay, then we will sell it in 30 days, ma'am. You will be in Florida in 60 days. Was that too forceful? Or did it make sense?
Just tell me where to sign.
Okay, there you go. You know, this goes back to pricing a house, putting the correct number on a house. Don't follow the crowd. I lost a listing the other day. I didn't lose it because I never had it, but they've been on the market for 5 months at $380,000, and every one of my pricing models showed it at 345 to 352. I told them 350, and she felt insulted and put off. And no, we're gonna. And I asked her. I said, "Ma'am, may I ask you a question?" Sure. What was it? And I said, "What makes you think that your house is going to sell for $380,000?" Well, the house up the street sold for $382,000. I said, "Then why didn't they buy yours at $380,000? What made them not buy you?" I didn't say why, actually. What made them not buy yours at $380,000? And she didn't have an answer. You know, she didn't have the answer. You've got to shock these people into understanding that the pricing that we use is correct, and it will sell within those 30 days. Does that answer your question, Betsy?
Yes, it does. Thank you,
All right,
sir.
good. Listen for better buying signals. This is important. And it's part of basic sales 101. If you've been through any sales, Carl, you understand what a buying signal is. If you haven't, I'm going to tell you anyway. A buying signal is when somebody agrees with you and has a thought in their mind that this might actually be good. So listen for the complaint and the pain. I don't like using the word pain for those people that think pain is a physical hurt. The pain is what's inside of somebody. The complaint is what's inside of somebody. They're not, it's just, so you're having that conversation with somebody that's stuck at home with the kids again, right? Jay's stuck at home and the kids have no place to go. That's supposed to be place, not pace. The kids have no place to go. What's your answer to that? Somebody give me an answer.
Well, we need a frog for you in your next house. We need a playroom.
Nope. Nice try. You want to ask them a question. What question you want to ask them?
Do you think that maybe a specific playroom or a frog or a game room would have been helpful?
Use who, what, where, or when. What would it look like? What would it look like if you had a frog?
Well,
Oh my God, I would love it.
I need to reframe those questions in my brain.
Reframe the question. What would it look like? Let them do the thinking. Because if you're telling them, I mean, I've got 15, 16 people on here, and I know half of you are asleep because I'm telling you shit. Okay? Sorry for my language, but I'm telling you stuff. I'm not asking you questions. So look for those buying signals. The buying signals are the kids have no place to go. The yard's not big enough. I don't have an office. Well, let me ask you a question. What would it look like if you did have an office? Would you stay home more? Yeah, I probably would. Would you think about getting your next house? Would you think about getting an office? See, you're turning the conversation from a regular conversation of care and concern, and now you're focusing on your conversation. You're going back to focusing on what you want. What do you want?
An appointment.
An appointment, correct. Okay, you're focusing that back to the conversation of why you called. This is the intent of my call. Just because we're in COVID, it's no different than when we're in a regular market. The conversation doesn't. The content of the conversation changes, but you still want the same outcome. Okay, you still want the same outcome. So listen for the buying signals. Write buying signals down so you understand it. Practice with your peers the buying signals. Listen to conversations you've had. I think everybody's probably had a conversation here from somebody in the last 30 days, yes? That was talking about their house being too small, too big, not enough room, whatever it was. That's a buying signal. Focus on those buying signals.
How would you go from talking about what would it look like if you had more room to let's make an appointment to talk about it? How do you segue into that?
So it's probably a 10-minute conversation, Bets. Okay, and I'd be happy to take it offline and tell you that. But I'll do another segment on it maybe. It comes from, so what would it look like? And then they would tell you, well, it would be great if I had another room for an office. Bob can stay home longer, and I can watch the kids. So would you stay in the same neighborhood? Location? Would you need to sell this house in order to buy the next one? Or would you have to pay off this mortgage, right? Price, mortgage. If you go right down the whole list. Agent. Gosh, I would love to be your agent when you do make that move. Why don't we talk after this whole thing's over, okay? Not you, Betsy. That was part of the conversation. Okay, that was part of the conversation. Let's talk after this whole thing's over. Let's wait till COVID-19 is over and we'll talk about it.
Thank
All
you.
right.
That's really helpful.
Well, that's good. We got 6 minutes. And I'm going to open the floor up for conversation. I'm sorry I went a little long. I just wanted to do about 40 minutes. Let me tell you a little bit about Power Onward real quick. This is something that's been on my mind for years. I used to run a Fridays with Flanagan. A couple of you have been on it before. I stopped it back in October. I don't know why. I joined a new team. I actually dismantled my team, joined a team, so I had more time to do this, and I didn't do it. So I'm back on schedule. If you need coaching, consulting, masterminds, this is always free. Fridays with Flanagan will be running every Friday at 11 o'clock. I'll try to bring some good content to it. Hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully you stay with me, and we'll go from there. All right? Questions, answers, ahas. What do you got?
Thanks, Greg.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you.
Michael.
And Greg, I think some of this, it would be nice to break this and maybe have more detail on this various segments that you've been over. I mean, of course, I love the buying signals ones and the questions. I love that. If we could do a whole one on how to phrase your questions and then a whole one maybe on objections, that'd be great.
Okay, I have I do have an objection one already laid out, so that's good. I haven't done buying signals yet, but I'll take that. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Mhm. My big aha is I threw Y out of my vocabulary.
You did. Okay, good.
Done.
That's a good, that made a
Very
big difference
powerful.
in my world.
You don't think of it that way until you phrased it that way, that it is almost derogatory or accusing.
Yeah.
And on that same point, when I became a mother-in-law, I had to learn, especially a grandmother, to take the words should and need out of my vocabulary. I cannot say to my child or my son-in-law, you should do this or need to do this. I mean, that's immediate
Right.
pushback.
Right. Double
I
down, one of the things here was double down on the proficiency of what you say. Double down on that. Double down on that.
I'm going to print the LP Mama and put it by by my computer so that it stays top of mind to look for those buying signals
Yep.
and to talk about those things.
If you want a copy of LP Mama, let me know. Just drop me an email at glflanagan@gmail.com. That's GL Flanagan, all A's. That's pretty much the basic. If you can get an LP Mama down, that's the conversation you have to focus on going forward. That's the conversation. Anybody else?
Thank you so much, Greg. This was great. I look forward to the next one. And I appreciated the specific email this morning with the link in it.
Oh, do you
Yeah.
like that?
Yes.
Yeah, that
And
was good.
Greg,
What?
I'd love to do one on the anatomy of an appointment, how you structure your appointments. And I always like to have, a list of what points you want to make at the end of the appointment, your list of must-have dones.
Okay. Does everybody else have a listing appointment that they use? If you've never used one, do you have one available? No? Okay. Are you all focusing on buyers or sellers?
Buyers, however, with that said, it looks like I'm about to get 2 listings. Don't know how that happened.
Good for you. Excellent. Listings are the way to go. Buyers are going to bring you instant cash. You still have to pay attention to buyers, especially if you're not a heavy listing agent. Just understand that listings will give you more money in a short, in a dollar per hour type thing. All right, folks, I'm going to cut us off because 12 o'clock is state of the company. Jump on Vince's email and go from there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Toodaloo.
All right.
Thank you.
There are buyer and seller presentations, drafts in command if you need them. And some of the elemental classes for that are coming through Ignite next week. So just because you took Ignite once doesn't mean you have to take it. You can't take it again or drop in on a class here and there. Okay? Use everything. The person with the most knowledge is going to win this game. The person with the most contacts is going to win this game. And you will survive and come out the other side. The person that talks to the most people are going to have the most deals on the other side of this thing. So look for the now buyer by conversations and look for the after buyer by following up. Have a great day. I appreciate y'all. Listen, next email, if you enjoyed this one, next email that comes out, please share it with your peers. If you know people in other companies, this is not just for Keller Williams. This is me growing my company, and I'd appreciate the help. Give it a nice little, hey, if you liked it, or send me a note if you didn't like it. Tell me to go pound salt, whatever you want to do. All right? I appreciate you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Greg. This is great.
Thank you.